Check, check, check.
I think it looks good. I'll bring it back here. It's like a 30-second delay.
What up, howdy, howdy. Checking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. Big check, big check.
All right, I think we are up and running. Greetings, one and all. Welcome to North Carolina Professional Competitive Air Hockey. We are getting right into it with our first match of our three-match day. We have Joey Liss, number 1 in the state of North Carolina, versus Rafael Portillo, number 5 in the state. They're playing each other not only for number 1 in North Carolina, but also number 4 in the world, this number 4 in the entire world of competitive professional air hockey. Come one and all, welcome to the table. Thank you to Steve Olson for allowing us to play here at the Archetype Gym, and to Super Rad Arcade for sponsoring this stream. We're going to get right underway. What you can expect is some high-octane gameplay from these two. I have with me here Kurt Zender, former number 1 in the state of North Carolina, considered the grandfather of air hockey in North Carolina. He's going to come on the mic with me on occasion to talk about who these players are. He's played against both of them quite often, and he's going to tell you what to expect. So don't go anywhere. Our match is going to get underway very shortly. Thank you for joining us.
That's good.
Yep.
Very little feedback.
Yep.
I'm going to share this in yeah, if you want to move. Oh, you're going to move around a little bit with it? Okay.
Yeah. As you can see here, I'm Timothy Spidey Young. I'll be helping commentate this match. You can see me on the camera up here. But our players on this 8-foot photon table, they are showing up as folks wanting to really take on what being number 1 in North Carolina means. And so I'm going to show you our incoming player. Our challenger is going to approach. Riff, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and tell us who you are, what you're doing here, and what your strategy is going into this game.
How's it going, Tim? My name is Rafael Portillo. My strategy going into the game is really trying to feel what kind of Joey's going to show up, whether it's going to be slow, patient, calculated style, or whether or not he's going to play an aggressive kind of an off-goal type of game. Really, it's just it's a feel-out process. Do more of the feeling out when I'm playing rather than watching. So we'll see how this goes.
And when I've played Joey before, I always make a note to anyone who's coming in and playing against Joey that sometimes you don't know which Joey you're going to be playing against. Do you think that's kind of an accurate representation of who Joey Liss is as a player?
Definitely. I think Joey is very, when he's on, he's one of the best players in the world. But there are certain moments I feel like in his mind where it kind of creeps in on him. But I'm excited to see what kind of Joey shows up. Hopefully the best version of Joey, because if I could beat the best version of Joey, there's not a lot of players that could say that.
Yeah, there's going to be no question on who is attempting to be the champion here in North Carolina. But both players are going to take their mark on the table. We are going to have our referees set up. I believe we're playing for face-offs every single game. So you're going to see some high-octane. It's going to look just like a hockey face-off. We're going to have the puck right here as they are going to be scrambling for that first possession. So, Riff, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for getting
Tim.
this far.
Appreciate you.
All right. We are going to get into position. Don't go anywhere. North Carolina's fight for number 1 in the state, and part of our first match of our 3-match header is happening right here, right now. Gentlemen, start your engines!
Only we got some music now. Shout out to you, Tim. You're so good.
All right, we're going to get up right underway. We're going to get the table all cleaned off, nice and shiny, and we're going to get into this.
So as ref, do y'all want me to be on the far side?
Yes. Yeah, are you refereeing the first one?
Now, like I said, I'm going to be joined on this commentary table by former number 1 in the state. I know I keep calling you that, but I think right now you're ranked number 4, number 3. I have Kurt Zender here with me, who's also going to be playing a match here today. Kurt, why don't you go introduce yourself to the world and tell us what you're doing here?
Hi, my name is Kurt. What I'm doing here is playing air hockey. No, I'm excited to get ready and watch this match between Joey and Riff. It'll be interesting to see kind of how they adjust to each other. Joey, I have a pretty good idea of what he's going to be doing, having seen him play and played against him quite a few times. And that's always always going to be a challenge for Riff coming into a match like this against somebody who's played a whole lot and kind of has a set idea of what he's going to be doing, as Joey does, is how you adjust to that throughout the match. And when Joey counter adjusts, if you have anything in the tank that you're going to be able to figure out how to move from there. So we're going to get started here in just a moment. We'll see how things play out.
Gentlemen, both of y'all are down for face-off every game.
It does sound like we're going to be doing a face-off every game, as is the North Carolina way. We don't like face-offs only at the beginning of the match. Some people in other lesser areas of the country do.
We have a false start here to start us off. Both players are allowed one false start, otherwise they would lose possession of the... All right. Looks like Riff has some handy possession on that first face-off, and that shows you how important a possession can be.
I always say possession is a point. You want to keep control of the puck as long as you can. Don't ever want to give up if you don't have to. You know, I always anticipate when I'm playing somebody with Joey's caliber that if he's in possession of the puck, he's very likely to score.
Had some back-to-back fouls there. If you don't know, if you knock the puck off the table, the possession is going to go to the other player, which really shows the importance of controlled power, controlled attack. Because if you were just slamming the thing willy-nilly, you're not gonna keep possession. Good second goal by Riff there.
And that's actually what you're saying about controlled power is really important. Now, these guys have played on this table many times in the past, but there's 3 tables here at the gym, and each of them play a little bit differently. The puck flies off at slightly different rates, and you've really got to figure out how hard you can hit it without losing the puck. Because again, you hit it off the table, your opponent's going to get control.
It was a nice right wall under by Riff there. And you can see Riff is a left-handed player, so sometimes you might hear us call right wall or left wall, but we also might hear strong wall or weak wall. And for Riff, his strong wall is different than a right-handed player stereotypically. As you can see, that was a strong wall under from him right there. Immediately matched with the cut there.
Yeah, and that is something important to note. A lot of people don't pay attention to the handedness of players so much, especially newer players, but you're going to see a lot more from Riff coming from the left side than you are Joey.
Is that a forehand I just saw?
Mm-hmm. It sure was.
And a forehand of his own.
We see that a lot. Sometimes when players take a shot that's a little bit cheeky, you'll see an almost immediate response with the same type of shot from their opponent.
Great transition under there from Joey.
You see a straight setup from Riff. We'll see if he goes across. No, it's a left wall.
Really see how the dynamics change. Ooh, great cut right there. Timeout's called. Each player is given 1 timeout per game. It's just 10 seconds where whenever the puck is out of possession, they can call a timeout, get their head right, get back in position. Remember what's working and what's not.
10 seconds. Ready.
6-4.
6-4. Puck it.
Nice rally there. Joey will take game number 1 of the set, 7-4. What do you think this player is running through their head right now?
Well, I think right now Riff is probably trying to figure out how to adjust. We definitely saw some straight shots coming out from him. Joey's a player that it's going to be hard to get straights on him over and over and again. He adjusts to that pretty fast, and unless you're finding a way to move around him, it's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, when I played Joey in the past, he always tells me that when he's on defense, he's usually just blocking for the straight. Like he's not even he'll maybe reflexively try to block the under the bank shots, but overall it seems that no matter what, he wants to not get scored on by a straight shot. And that's a kind of an offense the quickest distance between two spots is a straight line, and so a cut or a straight shot can be one of the fastest shots in air hockey. So if you're blocking those, everything else kind of comes as a secondary. What are your thoughts on that, Kurt?
Yeah, it's definitely true, and something I've noticed a lot, particularly with newer players, but players in general, is a lot of movement on straight shots defensively. You don't want to be moving around so much. If you're out in front,
Called topping there on his hand. That's why he gave up possession there.
yeah, if you're out in front of the goal and your opponent makes a straight shot, unless it is a perfect straight shot, it's going to run into your mallet. And you see a lot of people that move back or move side to side, and I'm guilty of it as well, but it's generally not something you want to be doing.
Nice return. This ball's going to stay up.
See, just like that shot that Riff took there. He took a straight shot, it was a cross, but Joey didn't move, ran right into his mallet, and here comes the puck.
Great dodge, Kurt. Almost,
I don't know where it went.
oh, gonna have a quick scramble for the puck here. When you play this kind of game, air hockey, this is just, like I said, this is just a piece of plastic that's floating on a table. And sometimes if it's smacked too hard, you gotta play a little bit of hide and seek. And sometimes when you're watching these games, you have an idea of like what are they aiming for? Like when you have these really, really quick shots and they're just like taking shot after shot after shot. It's wondering if they're just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall and wondering if it sticks. But when you're at this high level, these are some calculated chaos, I could call it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some calculation behind it. I think in the instance we just saw, it was a little bit of Joey just kind of hitting the puck all over, which sometimes is something that's good to do. If you're hitting straights and banks back to back at a really high speed, it can throw your opponent off and get them wondering where you're going to go next, and they end up overthinking things.
4-2.
Riff is getting one of the largest leads he's had so far in game number 2, 4-2. He's only growing it. That was a sweet wall over on his Riff's right wing side. Keeping possession of that puck. A little scrambling for the puck in out there.
6-2. Game point.
Joey has to score 5-4 unanswered points if he's hoping to get this game back. Riff calls a timeout here. 10 seconds. He has 1 point between him and tying up this set.
So that shot we just saw from Joey there's a lot of arm action going on that, and that's designed to look like a right wall. And there we see Riff ends up taking the game 7-3. But like I was saying, that big swing on the arm is meant to look like it's a bank shot coming in, and if you can slice the puck into a straight, you're going to score a lot of points on your opponent.
That was a great answer for Riff Portillo, just taking that game back after being after losing the first one. You're now tied up 1 game each in a set. You have to win 4 out of 7 games. That wins the first set of the match. I believe are we doing best of 4 out of 7? Yeah, we're doing 4 out of 7 sets. So we have a lot of air hockey in front of us. So both players, both tied 1 game each, but they have a lot of air hockey left to play. So these really early games are more about learning who their opponent is, learning who they are, and we go to face-off number 3. Shout out to Marco Portillo for repping this game for us. Joey will break that silence there. It seemed like a very quiet volley. One each.
2-1.
Got of back and forth happening between these players. Scramble there. Like Kurt said, treat every possession like it's a goal. And I think if we're talking about statistics here, the percentage of high-level competitive players, we're talking the fact that Joey's number 4 in the world. Statistically, I believe it's 60% to 80% of every shot will result in either a goal or the player regaining the possession. And so defense is extremely crucial in that regards, but also not something to get yourself down on. If you get scored on, well, you're like, well, they had a pretty high percentage of getting that puck back or getting scored on. So I need to treat every possession like it's gold when you have possession. What do you think of that, Kurt? Do you think it's an accurate representation?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the numbers specifically, but that sounds about right. I mean, you see a lot even in this match, taking a shot, doesn't go in, gets possession, taking a shot, doesn't go in, gets possession, taking a shot, and then you score. And that's pretty common, and like you said, that's why defense can be so important and gaining possession can be so important. And it's why you see players, switching up the speed, switching up the type of shot they're taking. You don't ever want to fall into that predictable pattern and make it easier for your opponent to gain possession of the puck.
6-2, game point.
Joey firing back. This is a mirror matchup of the game we saw earlier. Ooh, a little left hand. It was a forehand under. Very cheeky.
6-4.
Just like that. Joey will take game number 3, but this set is far from over. Between games, players are given 1 minute or 2 minutes if they opt for it, if they choose for it. I think you get I think once per set you can choose to take 2 minutes. But that really gives players not a lot of time to catch their breath. I mean, the average air hockey game lasts 5 minutes at some point or so. So taking that time, I know I tend to take laps. I sometimes will take whole laps around the building with my 1 minute, trying to get my head out of this building, head back in the game, especially if I'm facing losses.
Yeah, generally, I like to play at a pretty quick pace, especially if I have a good sense of what's going on in the match. I don't like to take a lot of time in between games.
Nice under there from Joey.
Between sets, you get up to 7 minutes, and I'll usually take the full break between sets. But typically, in between games themselves, I'm on the other side of the table right away, and I'm ready to go.
0-2.
Heard a bit of grunt of frustration. As you see, we call those in and outs sometimes. You can call those just kind of cheeky shots that kind of bounce in and out of the goal. And I think I heard this from Tim Weissman, shout out to the center line. But one of his advice is that if that ever happens to you, if you take a shot and it bounces out, just count that in your head as a goal. Because either way, whether it bounced out or not, your opponent wasn't blocking it, and that regardless of millimeters or anything along those lines, count that in your mind as like a successful goal, and bank that. Take that frustration and put it into something productive where you can.
Yeah, it's going to happen to anybody throughout the course of a match. It definitely can be frustrating, but it's not something worth stressing yourself out about. You just kind of take those and remember for later on, okay, here's how I set up, here's the type of shot that I took, and my opponent didn't read that, and I can use that information for later.
Nice stutter. Little stutter there from Joey. Griff tried to replicate it a bit there. You saw Joey try to stumble for the possession. block. Nice. You see that just that how he cocks up his elbow on those unders. Really making anyone's guessing game. Wow.
Is that 3 games to 1?
That is 3 games to 1. Joey's now 1 game away from taking this set. Riff has to make some adjustments here.
It's taking us 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I've been updating them. Oh, you are? Okay. We don't need this?
Yeah, if you're following along with us, we have a Google form where we can track these scores. We'll put that in the chat for you all as you're paying attention. But we are well into this game. Joey has 1 more game to take the first set, but again, it is best 4 out of 7. So we have still have a lot of air hockey ahead of us. And if you're watching us and you're interested in learning more about air hockey as a whole, I mean, why wouldn't you, obviously? There's so much air hockey to be played. If you are native to North Carolina, come out on both Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, all throughout the Greater Triangle area. Sundays, we play in the Cary area at the Neighborhood Sports Bar and Grill. On Mondays, we play at Boxcar, Raleigh. At 8 o'clock, we have 3 brackets for beginners, intermediate, and advanced players. On Tuesdays, we play in Greensboro, North Carolina at the Boxcar up there. On Thursdays, we play at Boxcar in Durham. So many opportunities to play, so many opportunities to learn from the best. You see these players in front of you. They're playing at these tournaments. They are winning wherever they can, and there's a great chance for community as well as some high competitive air hockey. We are going right now into game number 5. Potential set game.
That's right.
Currently leads set number 1, 3 games to 1. Gentlemen, ready? Ready.
Nice strong wall bank shot there. I'm going to try to make the habit of saying strong wall and weak wall, specifically when I'm talking about Riff, when we have both a right-handed player and a left-handed player playing here today. Keeping that possession. Spoke too soon. Joey attempting to make Riff flinch there, trying to make him think he's where he's not.
Yeah, that's something Joey likes to do a lot. You see a lot of deception in shots that he's taking, a lot of pump fakes, a lot of one thing you were noticing earlier, that all the arm motion that he has and throwing his elbow forward, he does that sometimes as an attempt at deception as well, to get you to think that there's a shot coming when it's not, and you'll see a lot of players moving all over the place when he does that.
And Riff does not seem to be falling for it. Riff is up 3-0. You can see that those pump fakes have to pay off at some point, right?
Well, it depends on the player, you know. And you see Riff here, he's leaning pretty heavily into the left wall, which is, I think, to be expected given he's a left-handed player, but more so than normal. And I think that's the right move against a player like Joey. He tends to have a more subtle motion on defense. It does mean banks are open a little bit more often. Obviously, he's still great at blocking them, but I think that's kind of the shot to challenge with when you're playing somebody of his caliber.
Over was called there. And over is called, and you can see that a lot of these players, their long wingspans, they do what I call flirt with the center line. But if the puck is touching the line at any point in time, both players can go for it. But if the puck has completely crossed that line, the player on the other side cannot touch it with their mallet, or else it's called a foul, and the possession is immediately given up to the player.
1-3.
Joey breaks the drought. 1 point to 3.
That left wall again.
And fires back, gets that under.
2-4.
Joey's not going down out of fight. He wants this set to be over. He wants to conserve his energy.
2-5.
But Riff has only 2 points to keep him in this game.
3-5.
Joey only has 4 to take the set from him. Close.
3-6. Game point.
Riff 1 point away. Take his second game of the set and keep him in this. Keep this competitive. Keep that potential. Joey snags that puck. Oh, that's one of those in and outs.
Yeah, that's an interesting one too. Usually you see that around the edges of the goal. That one kind of went in right in the middle and just popped back out.
That just shows how powerful these shots are. If how much energy is being directed into the back of the goal, and how much those pucks are already bounced out. These are made a bit of a goofy shot there. Riff call. That's a good timeout to call. That was an unfortunate shot to get scored on. You see Riff walks down the hallway. He's doing what I like to do, where you can just remove yourself from the situation, clear your head.
Ready. 4-6. Look in.
And no matter what, there's only one shot he needs to take, and it's that one.
There it is. Yeah, that was a pretty solid cross. We saw a little bit more movement from Joey, and that's the game. So now we're here 3-2. Riff's got 2 more games he's got to overcome, but he is on the way back.
I'll always give myself a pat on the back when I'm able to do that, right? When I'm able to make that Maddox, like, where you almost want to hold your breath. It doesn't always pay off to our dear listeners listening to me, but that one felt pretty cool. We're going to reset the table. We're now 3 games to 2.
Got 30 seconds.
So we have Nathan Buss in the comments. Thank you for watching, Nathan. Shout out to Idaho Air Hockey, who just finished up their state tournament this month. Incredible gameplay, incredible commitment from all the players there in Idaho. Shout out to Spec, who makes a great setup on their end with the graphics, the instant replays. Here in North Carolina, we are getting by with heart and a dream and a junker of a laptop that we are setting up, but we are hoping to upgrade our system soon.
$159.
Oh yeah, Steve just told me that's a $159 laptop we're running on. But we are trying to keep air hockey accessible and show you all really what we are cooking up here in Carolina. Scuffed puck. You see our ref asks us to sand the puck. On both sides of the table, there's I don't know what kind of grade sandpaper that is. I know it sometimes varies, but anytime the puck flies off, it can grab a little bit of schmutz. What a catch! Somebody clipped that. Oh.
That's going to be Riff's puck.
No, it's going to be Riff's puck. Did you see that catch? If that puck flew off the table and no one else touched it, would that have been Joey's puck, or was that Riff's anyway?
If it had initially fallen off the table, it would have ended up being Joey's puck, but it was because Joey made contact. And that's one of the rules of the game. The puck is in play until it hits something that isn't the playfield of the table, the inside of the rails, your mallet. those are the things that can hit the puck. Once it touches something else, it's out of play. But because it hadn't hit the ground or the wall or another player, you can still try to capture it. And if you know that it's your fault that puck is coming off the table, it's in your best interest to go for it. As ridiculous as it looks sometimes.
It was a really cool scramble, but you can see how much that paid off because Riff had that possession. He got that goal. Yeah, if anyone in the who's viewing that wants to clip that, that was a really fun scramble. I would love to rewatch. 2-1. What a block.
Cross again.
Riff taking his time. Each player gets a 7-second shot clock. Good return cut there from Joey. 7 seconds where a player can have the puck on their side without it crossing. And so you see some players will kind of dribble the puck and find their angle. Riff staying alive in this game.
4-3.
It's broke by too soon. Right wall under from Joey.
5-3.
Strong arm under. Joey does not want this to go to set game either way. He wants to close this out if he can. Bit of a goofy forehand there. Doesn't make contact. Up off the top of that goal. It feels
5-4.
forehand transition. Riff will take his timeout. As you can see, Joey's confidence is growing.
5-4. Puck in.
Recovery, snag that puck.
Game point. 6-5.
We got a close game. It might be close to our first 7-6 of the match, but not if Riff can help it. He's going to try to take this to game, to set game either way. And he does it. We are going into game 7 of the set, where it's going to be set game either way. Regardless of what you've seen before, only 7 points stand between each of these players and taking the first set of this match. Like I said, we have so much air hockey in front of us. I mean, Kurt, why don't you go ahead and tell me about the game you will be playing later today? You're playing right up after these guys, right? Correct?
Yeah, we're going to be playing hopefully at 2 o'clock. I guess depending on how long this match ends up going, but I'm going to be playing AO, otherwise known as Alan Odom, longtime North Carolina player. He's been playing for, God, I don't even know what year it is anymore, 5-6 years. He's been around for a long time. We've been friends for a long time. He was actually somebody when we had our first iteration of the ranks. I believe we originally had him going in as the 4th ranked player, and he moved to Georgia maybe a week or 2 before the ranks came out, and so we knocked him off the ranks. He's not a North Carolina player, but he has moved back and slowly worked his way back up, and he's gotten really, really strong over the last couple of years.
Either way. Shout out to Dead Spec. I see he's also in comments. He's saying we also started out with a cheap laptop and a dream. So, and you guys have built something incredible in Idaho that we can only hope to recreate. A bit of a cheeky double wall. Just slides its way to give Riff his first point of this game. Yeah, as you're talking about Ao, I know he spent some time in Hawaii this past year. I believe he was there for work, but I think the legends grew because we know that the #1 player in the world, Colin Cummings, lives in Hawaii. I know that they had the chance to play some challenge sets and challenge match each other. So I always talk about the fact that Ao has that forbidden Hawaiian technology he brought back to show us what he has in North Carolina. Are you afraid of the Hawaiian technology?
No. Colin's an amazing player, obviously, and one of the best things you can do to get better is by playing against players who are better than you, learning the decision making that they're making throughout the match, the way they see the game, the types of shots they have, and then using that to help you adjust when you're playing opponents later on. I've had the chance to play Colin in a tournament once. Obviously, he won, but again, being able to see that on the other side of the table is always going to help you.
Riff grows a lead here, 2-0, and that is not an insubstantial number, as you can see earlier. Ooh, great defense, keeping that possession. Attempt on a pump fake there.
You see Riff channeling his inner Joey.
Nice. Joey ties us up. 2 answered points of his own.
You saw there Joey hitting some off goals in the right corner. That's something he does like to do a lot, both to draw you on defense, but change the pace of the game as well.
Yeah, sometimes we call that dribbling. We call those off goals in Canada. I've also heard from some competitive players that off goals can be very dangerous because against a good player who's waiting for them and ready for them, that's just a free attempt at getting your puck back.
Yeah, it really depends on who you're playing. There's some players I don't do them against very much. There's some players I do them against a lot. If you have somebody with a very active defense that likes to come forward and snag the puck, it's going to be difficult to pull that off.
Ties us up here.
3-4.
Nice slicey little cut there. Sometimes when you see those shots, when they follow through a full swing with the arm, even though they made contact earlier, it can really be deceptive on where they were aiming on that side of the puck. Yeah, I see Nathan in the comments said he's been a Joey fan for years, but he always likes to root for an underdog. I also don't know who I'm rooting for in this game. I always like to see North Carolina's iron sharpening iron, but Joey's been a titan in the North Carolina community for quite some time. I can't always but help that someone can take him down a peg and grab that #1 from him for so long. Riff might be the one to do it.
Well, I for one generally always root for the underdog, and also if Joey loses, I will continue having held the #1 rank in North Carolina for the longest length of time, which I can still lord over him for at least a little while longer.
And what is that period of time? What is the longest anyone has been #1 North Carolina?
I'd have to look at the exact dates, but it's about 2.5 years.
I can say that the #1 North Carolina has been in the past. You, Kurt. It's also been Joey Liss. It's also Seth Garrett as well.
Yeah, it was. I held it from the beginning of the ranks in 2019 until early 2022, probably around March or April when Joey beat me. Seth beat him shortly after that and held on to the rank for about a month before Joey took it back, and he's held it ever since then.
Puck it. 5-6, set point.
We might be reaching our first 6-6 of this set. Probably the most important.
6 all.
Timeout. Six.
Timeout, hurry.
6-6. Set point. Either way, 10 seconds on the clock. Next goal will take the first set
10
of this
seconds.
match.
Set point either way. Joey, you ready?
Riff will be starting with possession, though, and all we know is that all it takes is one possession. Riff has to make the shot count. He's doing some cheeky off goals.
Side motion, a lot of off goes, really drawing that tension out. And here we see Riff getting control of the puck now for another shot.
Great block. See these pump fakes become more exciting than ever, and he takes the first set, the 7-6, with a little bit of an off-speed right wall over. Is that what I accurately saw?
Yeah, it sure is. You know, and especially one of the things you'll see, and one of the reasons why Joey does that, he takes those pump fakes, he takes those off goals to really get a player moving on defense and worrying about which shot's going to be coming. And then a lot of times you see almost an overreaction or a very fast reaction on the bank. And when you have that over coming in just a little bit slower, it slides right past them.
7 minutes on the timer.
Yeah, you see, hey, I see AO is in the chat. AO, what are you doing? Getting over here. You got a challenge match to win this afternoon. But AO, as he says in the chat, there are only 3 people have ever held number 1 in North Carolina: Joey, Kurt, and Seth. Joey currently holding number 1, but Riff is going to attempt to be that 4th one. But he did just lose the first set, but he has at least minimum 3 sets to go to try to turn this around for him.
We do also, and now that I'm thinking about it, I've noticed this. We have a trophy that is held by the number 1 ranked player in the state, the Carolina Cup, and it is noticeably absent from this match. It is supposed to be brought to any challenge matches where it's under threat. Joey must be awfully confident in his ability today. We're going to go ahead and take a little break here in between sets. We'll be back to commentary here in just a couple minutes.
Upgraded wide, you can do, you can put a logo in the corner of this right now. It doesn't use it, but other, I wonder if it's worth it. Other, like, yeah, so the image you can upload, the team is a board logo. I think that's the only pro version yet. So it's kind of like up to you. I'm gonna go team speed.
Is Kurt taking over for him?
Yeah, I think we're both taking breaks, but anyone who wants to get some not like to start talk, like start because we have the segments. So. Thanks, man.
I know, right? You know, I was gonna look at you every time I did that too. Oh my god.
Wrist action. No play mark? More than arm action. Practice full right.
Oh.
Turning. Playing the big man. How are you, Amber? Instead of flying. She's still sleeping. Look at her.
Yeah, I was a bitch.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah,
That feeling.
that over's new for me, so like trying to hit an off speed over the control,
feeling.
it's like,
You can only experience it really.
especially if I can pair it with that
That's like
speed under,
that's the
just
you could ever feel.
trying to work that. The forehand's getting better. Like, what? Yes.
Take this away from me.
On the winning end.
Go put that somewhere. It's all beer.
Oh, is it?
Does Lowe's have a sports car? Is that his car?
No.
The license plate is Lucido.
Oh shit.
Greg said the same thing. He was like, is that Liss?
I was like, I don't think that that's his car.
That's great. I was like, wait, why would you get out of Moses' car? Then I was like, oh, wow.
I don't know what I'm doing.
What up? What up? Right.
Oh, my head. It's early, I'm sure. Enough beers for you?
When's your next night?
My house got shit on it. I can space it right now.
You know that shit.
7 minutes.
I figured it would.
All right, so you ready to take this over?
Could someone figure this out?
Cry openly. I
I'm
got
leaving
you.
in 10 minutes. I can't just wait. Let me see what time it is. I'll take first game. The whole set? Maybe. I gotta leave in 5 minutes.
Where you gonna go?
You're Taylor.
Trust me, we're not gonna be
Need a breath.
What?
I gotta leave. Need a breath.
We're not gonna.
All right, guys, we're going to be jumping back in here in just a minute. We've got the players setting up to start the second set. We'll get back into it here in just a minute.
Yeah, right. If you want to. Marco's coming back in a minute. He can take over when he gets back.
That's awesome on this.
You guys stay there.
Got it.
All right, we're jumping back into the second set, starting with another face-off. And Joey hits it off into the corner and Riff recovers the puck. And one thing I always like watching when there's face-offs every single game is how players adjust to each other throughout the match. It definitely adds a little bit of element of strategy. There's a quick point from Riff. But, you know, when you have one single face-off at the beginning of the match and that determines possession throughout the match, it's a little bit different than every single game where players are seeing how their opponent took a face-off previously, adjusting to it, taking faster shots, slower shots, and whatnot. A quick 3-0. Ray is asking what the game count was for the first set. Ray, it was 4-3 in Joey's favor. We went to match point either way. I did post the scorecard in the chat. I can post it again here in just a moment. And Joey comes back. 4-1 in Riff's favor now. Definitely going to be helpful for him if he can take this first game and get up to an early lead in the second set. A lot of times, even just mentally after going down in a set like that, you really want to be able to take a lead early on, kind of put that last set behind you. there's that strong left wall from Riff again. Riff gaining possession in a very crucial moment there. He's been very straight heavy this game. And there it is again. So that first game goes to Riff, takes an early 1-0 lead in this set. Like I was saying, I think a lot of times when you have a set go the way that it did in the first set, and goes to set point either way, it's huge for your mental game to be able to come back and take the first game of the next set, just kind of mentally reset, refocus, and move on from there. It's a lot tougher going down like that and then coming back and losing that first game. Oftentimes you're left kind of wondering what's wrong, what's going on, what do I need to figure out, and you're playing a little lost for a little while.
Cut down some of that static.
We'll play while he's doing.
The static?
Give me 1 sec.
Alright, we're going to be getting ready for game number 2 here in just a moment.
It doesn't even keep going. It doesn't even keep going.
Alright, I gotta go. See you guys, I'll be back at 4.
You're gonna be here in time.
We see stutter steps from both players and redoing the face-off. Riff hits it off of Joey's mount. Joey gains possession. See 4 right wall unders from Joey in a row. A couple of those were right off the corner of the goal, but that one goes in. And there it is again. And then with the straight shot. There's that strong left wall again, and the game is tied back up. Seen a much faster pace game from Joey this game. A lot of right walls coming out from him. It's a very right wall heavy game from Joey this time around. something you'll see sometimes. Often players will take one or two of the same shot, move in a different direction, and go back one or two of the same shot. But Joey's taking the same shot over and over and over, and it's something I do from time to time. It's almost a way to kind of break the meta game, so to speak. You have a player expecting, a 2-1 combo, or saying, okay, he's taking a bunch of right walls. Clearly, he has to move to something else, and then just dragging it out longer and longer and longer. And if it works really well. But now we're tied up 1-1 in the second set.
Tim's still in there?
I think so.
Hey, you mean our car. It's our.
Everybody's car. Everything's so fast.
Community vehicle.
I didn't know you were a bus son. I didn't know you were such a big Nathan Bus fan.
Yeah, bus, right?
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Ref.
All right, we're going to be getting ready here for game number 3.
Ref's a big match.
And Joey wins that face-off again. And a quick cut, he starts the lead, 1-0. Switching things up this game, going back to the straight shots.
Oh, that was fucking nice. Oh.
I can't quite see what's going on here. It looks like the puck is probably stuck in the goal, and Riff gets it back. We're seeing a lot of side-to-side motion with the puck from both of these players. For those of you watching at home that maybe aren't quite as familiar, there's a common way of moving the puck around the table called the diamond drift, where you push the puck forward and to the left, back and to the right, kind of over and over, and move it in a circular or a diamond motion. And one of the things that does is it makes it a lot harder for your opponent to keep track of where the puck is on the table, when a shot's going to be coming, and what kind of shot's going to be coming. There's another forehand from Joey. And Riff comes back. There's that puck rattling around again, and you've really got to be able to keep your cool and go ahead and try to regain possession. Sometimes people will, give up on it, thinking it's going to fly off the table, and it ends up on the other side. See a lot of pump fakes from Joey. There's that off goal again, right into the corner. tied up, game point either way. Joey calls timeout. Calling timeout on 6-6 or when your opponent has 6 points is a good way to kind of mentally reset, take a moment, collect your thoughts. Riff calls timeout now. And there's a forehand from Joey to end it, 7-6. Yeah, a lot of those pump fakes and diamond drifting and off goals that Joey takes, a lot of still puck action, really slows down the pace of the game, kind of builds the tension in a way that can throw off your opponent. It's hard to adjust to, and we're seeing that thus far. Yeah, Nathan, I think you're right. Kind of just what I was saying about Joey. You know, if you're playing at the same pace throughout the match, you know, your shot selection obviously is going to help score on your opponent, but if every shot is coming at the same timing, it makes it easier to read when something's coming, and then all you have to figure out is the other part, which is where. You know, there were a lot of good shots from Riff there that were on goal, cuts, left walls that were coming in hard, but Joey was able to adjust to it.
Yeah. It's the take on a lot of them.
If you can keep your opponent guessing with timing, one or more of those may have ended up going in. So we're 2-1 here in the second set. Moving on to game number 4 and getting ready for the face-off. We see a last-second adjustment to Riff on the face-off. Joey hits an off goal and gains possession. That left wall again. Tied up 1-1. You know, for some of you newer players that are watching, I know we've highlighted a couple times that Riff is a left-handed player, Joey's a right-handed player. But why is that significant? You know, if you're a right-handed player and you're playing somebody left-handed, the shot's going to be coming off the left wall more often. And if you think about the way you're holding the mallet, if they're hitting it off the right wall, you can bend your arm in and move your arm at the same time to cover that side of the goal. But when it's coming from the other side, you're kind of forced to pull back at an awkward angle that makes blocking that shot more difficult, as we just saw right there. The same is true, from Riff's perspective. Joey hitting that right wall is going to be a more difficult shot for him to take or block than a left wall would be. But again, that's because of the handedness of each player. And you can kind of see that the way that Riff is blocking this. His mallet is sliding past the goal almost, which is something that kind of happens naturally as you're trying to get over there faster. But again, that arm motion is more awkward and you end up overshooting a lot of the time. Now we're tied up 4-4. Here. See a point from Joey. Long points like that where it takes a long time for either player to score, they're particularly stressful. You see a lot of shots from both players there that were getting by each other but not quite going in, and it's a frustrating thing sometimes. I think that timeout call from Riff was really good to kind of recollect himself there. We see that hard lean from Joey and a left wall. And he's up 6 points. And there's that strong left wall again. Pump fake from over there, but it works. 7-5. Joey's up 3-1.
I like delay to delay.
So here we saw this in the first set. Riff was down, came back, brought it all the way to set point either way. Here he's down 3-1 again. We'll see what he can do with it. Got Will Upchurch in the chat now. How's it going, Will? Oh, excuse me. Former world champion Will Upchurch. Credit where credit's due.
Ready.
Another face-off. This one finally won by Riff and a quick point. And another one. That was kind of one of those pucks you're just chasing and hope it goes where you want it to. But a point is a point nonetheless. Joey's spraying the puck. I wonder if he's going to set up after this with some more fakes and time delays. Nope, there's a forehand. One riff. We saw almost an identical point there. Didn't quite go in, but that was very similar to his second point in this game. Kind of slapping at the puck as he's losing possession. Good save there by Riff. In this game. Spec in the chat saying, I think to beat Joey you need to outsmart him, and I think that's definitely true. I think there's a lot of deception in his game offensively. He likes to get you moving around. And I think that's primarily where he ends up beating you, making you make mistakes. You know, you can see right here, he's got that very left-leaning body motion. Takes a left wall with that, but he'll just as readily shoot straights or shoot right walls from that same position, and that motion, that lean, and that arm angle all kind of makes you think that one particular shot is coming. It's something that I do and talk about a lot, is setting up like you're going to take a particular shot and being able to shoot other shots from that same position. Here we see him again moving to the right, leaning into the left. That time it is a left wall. If you can get your opponent thinking that that's what's going to be coming, it makes the other shots easier as they move to block the left. Joey faking it. Forehand again. There is the forehand. See, there's that setup. Lean left, take a straight. He just missed it. Riff ends up scoring. Gains possession again. Good save there from Riff. Both players going for crosses. Both players running into each other. Getting a lot of pump fakes, and then that forehand throwing Riff off. We're tied game point either way. Game point is set point. Joey with a hard block. He calls the timeout. That still puck action, those pump fakes, in a moment like this, really, really has to have Riff worrying about what's going to be coming.
Ready. No.
We've got another long point building up. straight to end it. All right, that's the end of the second set. Joey takes that one 4-1. We're going to take a break here for a couple minutes, and then we'll be back.
Oh, cool.
I'm so used to going back and forth with it.
She's doing very good. She's she told me she loves me, but if I gave her more homework, it would be a bigger nightmare because she's has to graduate law school, and then we have to make an Excel sheet after Excel sheet.
Oh, God.
It's
Well,
a lot of moving parts, but it's cool. But we chose a pretty we chose like a little place in Gimnasio, a little mountain overlook. It's gonna look real cute.
But you left.
amazing.
No, I was just on the ARC meeting.
Well, tell her I miss her, but I understand why
Yeah,
you've
she's
never
planning to
seen her.
come on Monday. She's planning to come to the doubles tournament, so it should be a good time.
I don't know if I'll make it because we can work, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
I will tell her you said hi.
Playing in Asheville.
She's got some challenge matches to love to play.
Is she feeling ready for that?
She's been kicking my ass. So she's
real?
yeah, she's been getting some practice. We went for we usually when we come by like if we're like in the area, like we come back, we'll play like a set and like hold on. So the fact, like she's always says like it's easier to do for her now in heels than it is on flat sometimes.
That's
But she
funny.
has to adjust every time she
Alright.
plays.
It's like you're a different height.
Oh, I mean, she's when I have to call overs on her center line because she's able to be up here now.
That's amazing.
Is it's
love it.
very funny because she's like that. So it's a good time.
Hitting under the right there.
Is this still
I'm
going?
trying not to do that just because I
Been
know
doing
I
it the
can
whole
pop
time.
it really
So
well,
we're between
really hard,
sets
but
right now.
it's like I can't really hit under any other shot. So it's kind of.
I'm gonna send curtsy for a second.
Okay. You're prettier than
If I
I
could, I wish. But I mean, I can try it.
Maybe not with the big glasses.
I'm adjusting. I like them, but like, I don't know. I'm like a baby. Every time you like shake it.
I'm just sitting here for one moment.
You're fine.
I told Taylor.
I'm gonna make Tim do
prettier
commentary
than
again.
you, so she gets to sit here.
I said not with your new glasses though.
What about my glasses?
They're new and we like them.
You like my glasses? You think I look sexy with my long hair on my glasses?
Yeah, that's it.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
I think Joey would probably fall over a lot. The whole thing.
I sent that text to both of you because I was like, I can believe poor Joey will have a better chance if I text them. Joey, thank you for bringing that along.
Yeah, it's just a habit.
I don't know the reason, but it's just as good an answer as any.
That just eliminates one of the infinite possibilities.
So it wasn't you. Got it.
I turned it off because we have nothing
I figured nobody wanted to be on a hot mic the whole time, so I just turned it off.
Yeah, that not happen. Then all sorts of editing has to happen.
Right? Yeah. So
Terrible
yeah.
things
It's
about people that we know.
so I was so I should be good.
Okay, you're doing commentary with Tim.
It's your chair now. Take it.
All right, everybody, we are getting into set number 3 between Joey Liss and Rafa Riff Portillo. We are currently Joey is up 2-0. Riff has to turn this around, but it is best 4 out of 7, so there's still a lot more air hockey underway. We have 2 more challenge matches ahead of us on this lovely Saturday in near the Raleigh, North Carolina. If you're watching, give us a shout out in the chat where you're watching from. I know we have some Idaho people in the chat. We might have Texas listening to us. We are all having a hoot and a holler. Ooh. A bit of an in and out there as we're underway for game number 1 of the third set. Joey has been keeping up that energy, but at the same time paying for it dearly. It's hard when you have such a long volley turn into a quick transition like that. Nice right wall. Nice left roll under there from Joey. He really is kind of find his angles on how to kind of keep. I'm a bit surprised. Oh, a little bit jamming the goal there. You know, in air hockey, if the puck breaks the plane of the goal, it's just in. So if you just see it, sometimes players just kind of smack the goal, and when it looks like it's just halfway in, it's a goal regardless. So yeah, guys. Ooh, I'm joined by Kurt Zender again. I wasn't here for the second set. I was working and discussing plans for our state tournament happening in, I believe, the June period. Keep an eye out for that free registration as we are getting ready to hold our second statewide tournament. But we are currently well into. It's currently 3-2 between Riff and Joey. What have you been seeing out of these two players as they've been trying to? I mean, it's Joey has a lead currently, but this is very much not far from over for Riff. What do you think Riff has to adjust to try to get himself back on top?
Well, I think so. Kind of in the middle of the second set, Joey was playing noticeably stronger than Riff was, and Riff adjusted in the final game. Still ended up losing, but he's really got to be able to, when the puck speed is changing, when Joey speeds up and slows down, kind of adjusting to that and not getting caught up in the moment and trying to play too fast and too loose. We've seen a few different times, if you watch him defensively, he's moving out too far to the side on bank shots or moving left to right a little bit on straight shots as well, and Joey's able to get by him in that way. He kind of locks down for moments, and then it goes away again, and that's a really tough thing to adjust to. Like I said earlier, when you have somebody like Joey who changes the pace of the game throughout the game, kind of makes those moments more tense, and obviously is as good of a player as Joey is. It's hard when when you're playing somebody that is, on paper a better player, and especially if it's somebody you've played a lot before, you have that history with them, and you're stuck trying to figure things out while in your mind they have things figured out. You have to kind of outsmart them offensively and defensively, and it's a tough battle. You kind of have to give that advantage just naturally to the higher ranked player in those moments. He's seen these moments before. He's played from behind before.
6-5. Ooh, we have our 7-6 game underway. Timeout called. 10 seconds.
Yep. Riff calls timeout again. Again, I think that's a really smart thing to do in moments like this. Take a breath, recollect yourself, and get back to it once you run through those 10 seconds.
All right, Riff just has to make this possession count. Doesn't matter what happened before. It's just 1 point. Good block by Joey. Pump fake. Kind of clips that. Oh, timeout.
Double timeout.
This is I was not surprised by this. This is something that Joey will often do. Just kind of put him on ice. You do have to count down that 10 seconds, or else Joey will take advantage as much time as he can. He has 7 seconds. Another pump fake. Another pump fake. Oh my God, that's 4 pump fakes and an off goal. Pump fake. Loss of mallet.
Loss of mallet from Joey. That's a big moment. That's going to give Riff possession here, and we've seen him be able to score. He's struggling more against Joey's offense, but this is a big moment here.
Dude, I flinched. I flinched on that one.
Just let the mallet hit you. It'll be okay.
Good block. Good block.
Yeah, that was a strong, hard left wall from Riff. Just missed, and the puck's in the air.
6-6. Another pump fake.
And there's the right wall from Joey.
And he just loves that quadrant, like that front left, that left to center, just full. I call it like it's like he's got a wingspan, so I don't know what we're gonna call it with what kind of bird name we want to describe it as, but he does a full crane swing cut that he can hit that wherever he wants, and he's been faking you out. I think how many? If someone in the chat wants to go back and count how many pump fakes was in that last 20 seconds.
He takes quite a lot.
I think over 5. Maybe up there, not even including the timeouts from both Riff and from Joey. Really setting us up here for a spicy game. So
He takes quite a lot, and something I find interesting about the pump fakes he takes. You'll get people flinching on them. I don't find his pump fake particularly deceptive in the sense that I think he's going to take a shot, but what it does do again is it makes you slow down. It kind of mentally, you look at it and you go, oh well, that's not a shot. You pause for that moment, and then if a quick shot comes right after, he's still got you looking. We've got Colin Cummings in the chat now.
Well, shout out to Hawaii, #1 player in Hawaii and #1 in the world.
That's right. His most known rank is #1 in the state of Hawaii.
Yeah. I don't know if they have ever planned to do a Hawaii state tournament, but that is. I'm sure that there are definitely more air hockey players around. That I'm sure they're able. Just got to find a place to have some tournaments. Maybe got to open up the compound as the air rises in the North Carolina world, as would say. But I'm sure that Colin Cummings is enjoying the Hawaii #1, possibly more than #1 in the world. That's what I would brag about. If I met a stranger in a bar and I tell them, it's like, oh, what do you do for fun? I'm like, well, I'm the #1 player in Hawaii. And they're like, really? I'm like, also #1 in the world. And then that it quickly makes them think that there's something special about Hawaii, and makes you feel that cooler where you live. So you take the clout with you. Riff has been getting on these hot streaks
Colin says they've got about 6 people playing. I assume that's
Awesome.
what he's referencing.
Awesome. That's great to hear, Colin. I hope to hear what your tournaments look like. And if you have any future stars coming to the next Worlds tournament. We described earlier that Kurt is playing later today. He's defending his number 4 rank in the state of North Carolina, and your world rank of. Can you remind me what your world rank is?
Truthfully, I have no idea.
Well, it shows
29 maybe.
Okay, but we know that AO is more likely looking and hungry for that North Carolina rank. I know that AO has. We described earlier. He played down in Hawaii with Colin Cummings, and he's bringing home that. Hawaiian tech, as I've been calling it, some kind of special powers he developed over there by playing with number 1 in the world, Colin Cummings, and so we'll see what he's able to bring here. What are you looking forward to? I mean, do you think you're learning anything from the fact that you were able to watch Riff and Joey play the other day, or do you have any kind of techniques or 5-all there?
Well, I mean, I've got for my match kind of what I'm thinking of the way that I want to play. I play AO differently than I would play Riff, or differently than I would play Joey. I think really the big, storyline, so to speak, will be AO's been practicing a lot. He's been playing a lot. He's been getting better, and I have not been playing a lot. And so seeing how the contrast in styles will work out in that match is going to be fun. I think playing, but also, that's something I would look for if you're watching the match.
There's that right of center under. He kind of off-goaled it right before we found the angle locked in 6-5. Oh, what a rally. He finds the spot. I mean, I think in the past we've done the math. I think Tim Weissman brought in some speedometers. We were like speed guns, and we know that a right wall under can reach speeds of up to 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, that
and,
sounds right. I
Kurt,
think you guys were measuring me at the state tournament last year.
Yeah, we were able to clock some pretty fast shots, and like it's funny because the closest point between 2 spaces is a straight line. But I feel like an air hockey puck, the moment it makes contact with that wall, if it's hit at such a force, like I feel that I'm not a big physics guy, but it's just the speed and the deception it can take on a human's reflexes is wild, and it's really impressive how defense can hold up because it's kind of based on prediction and pattern recognition and instinct or whatever you want to describe your defense as. I describe mine as oh god, hold on for dear life. Sure. But there's some shots that are just pretty unblockable if you if a player isn't predicting ahead of time and has reflexes. They're just too fast.
And that's the thing is, you'll see some people who say, don't pay any attention to what your opponent is doing, meaning their body, their arm, things like that. Just look at the puck and focus on the puck. And then there are some people who believe you should pay a lot of attention to your opponent. And it's a double-edged sword because they can be trying to fool you. They can be, leaning into a shot a particular way, and you never really know. That's always something you kind of figure out their tells as the match goes on. So there is a lot of prediction with that because truthfully, if you're set up to block a straight and your opponent hits a bank shot as hard as they can and you're not anticipating it, it's probably just going to go in.
That was a one face-off by Riff, but the possession is really can go either way here. But if anyone in the chat has been wants to go and try to can tell me if they've seen some patterns here. I don't know who's been winning the majority of these face-offs, either Riff or Joey, because we do here in North Carolina play face-offs every game. Just for this sheer reflex of it, we tend to force our hands in fire, trying not to break each other's knuckles in the process. But do you know if Riff has been able to get a majority of these face-offs or not?
So this was something I talked about a little bit in the second set, and Joey won all but one of the face-offs in that set. He won all of them through the beginning, and I believe it was only the last game that Riff finally won. And that's, again, having the face-off every game adds another layer to it. It's another adjustment you need to make, and it forces you to think about what your opponent's going to be doing before they do it. Are they going to hit it as hard as they can? Are they going to try to tap it into your mallet and get it to come back from them? What's going to happen there?
early lead in these games before Joey locks it in. But
Yeah, he's really got to be able to convert those early leads into wins. So he's been struggling to do that thus far.
that right wall again. When you're a left-handed player, it's like you basically get very used to a right-handed player's offense, but the instincts that are kind of like habitual at this point, how you play, is going to really sometimes be your downfall if a right-handed player like Joey can kind of get into, can kind of figure it out.
It's certainly true, but and again, this was something I was talking about a little bit earlier. You know, if you're a left-handed player facing a right-handed player and they take a right wall under, yes, that shot is a shot you're used to seeing, but just thinking about the way your arm moves, it's still physically more difficult for you to block it as a lefty than it is for a righty. And then the same is true of the opposite. If you're a right-handed player facing a lefty who's taking a left wall, you just can't move your arm in that direction as fast as you'd like to.
You see what a wild, I think it was a double bank kind of wild shot. And Riff's defense was out there. He needs to stop. He kind of freezes after a shot is taken. He's just way far up. Anything he needs to kind of lock that in, or else he's going to get some silly shots scored on him like that. But that's just how the angles and the geometry work out against your favor. Good snatch there. We got the red Dynamo pucks on the table today. We've been told they kind of look cool on camera, but is that kind of a player preference on what kind of colored puck you run with? I know we have the Dynamo yellow and
there are 3 pucks that are legal pucks in official air hockey matches. Your Lexan yellow, your Lexan red, and your Dynamo green. The Dynamo green is the least preferred of all 3. You're really not going to see that in competition almost ever. And typically the yellow puck is the one that's favored. However, on a Photon, which is the table that these guys are playing on today, has a lighter blue surface, and so that yellow puck blends in a little bit more than it does on a darker blue table. That's actually why they've opted to go with the red puck in today's match.
yeah, it's any color theory nerds out there wanna tell me if there's a reason my eyeball likes that red puck on that light blue. Let me know. But it's it looks.
I think it's just contrast. It's darker. It doesn't blend in quite as well. Not that yellow and blue are.
It looks real nice. As you have that, as you can see in on screen, like that like from my perspective, that's more like a kind of a light red, pink kind of mount. Good final score from Riff there, taking us into game number 3.
I believe that was game 3.
Take game number 4 as Riff takes game 3.
Yes.
He's able to fire back and make sure that Joey's not able to continuously run away and snatch snatch that third set. So Riff was able to kind of turn it around for himself there.
Yeah, and that was big. We saw the first 2 games
7-5 too. He didn't even let it get
the other way.
Yeah, he didn't let it get to 7-6 that time. Good for Riff. Both players, I don't think if they took a minute or 2 minutes, but they had to make this time count.
I think right now they're just taking a minute. I haven't heard anybody say they're taking 2.
Okay. So a lot of air hockey ahead of us. I mean, we're only on set 3, and this is going to be
to be honest.
One, yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure what they're doing here with the set count. I know at the beginning there was discussion that they would do 3 of 5, but if Riff ended up winning sets, they would play the full 4 out of 7. So I'm not sure if they've actually decided how many sets they're playing today.
Is that allowed?
I don't really know. But
if any rules lawyers in the chat want to let me know if that is, I believe I asked them directly at the beginning of the match how many sets they're playing. They said 4.
You can play.
Can we say 4 to 7 then at some point? I'm losing going to say 3 out of 5.
No, you know what? I think Joey's rank is too high to do anything less than 4 out of 7. So in North Carolina, if you were playing for a top 4 spot, you're obligated to play a 4 out of 7 match, and then in the world, I believe it's It's either top 10 or top 16. I would have to double check. So, no, they should have to play all 4 sets. If your rank is lower, you're allowed to play shorter matches, but not for the high ranks.
That forehand transition that Joey's been employing, it's just so. If you don't get back to your goal fast enough after taking a shot, Joey will take advantage of that with these crazy forehands, just swiping them, and they're not coming from angles you're at all used to, especially when you're being caught out on offense. But sorry, as you were saying, so it sounds like we are in fact going 27.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, so I don't know what that discussion was about at the beginning. Maybe it was something they were thinking about, but we'll find out what's going on here.
Right, well, there, Joey's finding his momentum. Riff has been able to finally start defending those right walls. That would have been kind of been a big thorn in his side, but it was a really good block. Oh, I spoke too soon. That feels bad. You're going to hear a lot. Especially that it feels so close. I feel like if they're really trying to listen to you, but usually it's the clapping on the puck is what's I feel in most of the ears, but I feel like my commentator's curse exists, and if I acknowledge it, it gets worse. So here we go. I was trying not to make too many predictions that go extremely awry. He paid for that dearly. You know, he was trying to. They call that a diamond. Like, is that reverse diamond drift? He has a very, especially as a left-handed player, he hits his dribble is.
In my mind, if you're a left-handed player, the normal diamond would be going up and to the right and back and to the left, whereas a right-handed player goes in the opposite direction. But I don't think it matters too much, to be honest.
It's just unfortunate when you take that drift, though. If it looks flashy and it kind of hypnotizes your opponent sometimes, but if you lose possession of it, then you're caught out, and if you're immediately scored on, you know it's because you lost that possession.
Yeah.
But that was a pretty decisive victory, 7-2 for Joey, taking game number 4, taking his third game.
We'll be on potential set game.
Potential set game. So that is going to what's really going to put Joey up. That's 3 sets to 0, and if you have one more to quote unquote one more to go, if you're on match set, Riff has to dig deep and find something that has been working this whole time. But during this time, we have maybe about 30 seconds to go before our next game and potential set game for Joey Liss to maintain his number 1 rank in North Carolina and his number 4 rank in the world. He's been really finding some cool transitions. He's been able to find some really intense shots that Riff has not been able to predict and not been able to kind of oh, you see that Kurt just walked over and informed the players, reminded the players.
I don't make the rules, I just make them.
Yeah. Both players just acknowledge they will indeed be playing best 4 out of 7 sets, which means
no confusion. We don't break rules here.
no confusion. We do not. You will if you are going to lose, you're going to lose. You're going to go down swinging here in North Carolina. If you're gonna take on number 1, you better be playing plan to play a lot of your Saturday. I mean, I think we started around 11 today. We're very much into hour 2.
They started a little bit late, but yeah. But that's one thing. I believe the rule for USA rank is if you're in, it might be the top 10, it might be the top 16, but you have to play the full 4 out of 7 challenge match. And then in North Carolina, currently it's either top 4 or top 5, where you have to play the full match. And there's been talks of expanding that down, I think, to around top 10. We'll see if that happens the next time we have a rules meeting or not.
Unfortunate in and out little just kind of it's hard when you take a bank shot and you just see it just kind of full circle inside your opponent's goal. Might want to check.
Yeah, Riff's had some success with those.
Commentating these players is always a challenge. I have to flip the angles over my head over and over again, coming from our left wall Riff or our right-handed.
Tim, it sounds like to me you're trying to say that you're having a hard time keeping up with the world's fastest table sport.
It's true. Look it up. You can try to challenge us on it, but I dare you to name a tabletop sport that's faster than air hockey.
Wow,
yeah.
That was fast.
That was shout out to Avery Yevernetsky, one of our top players in the world. Let you know that when we clocked it, when we say it, it makes you say wow sometimes. Nice. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That was fast. If anyone can practice their Owen Wilson wows, this is the sport to do it. We need when we start really upgrading the stream, we're gonna get a wow, that was really fast clip
Get a
that just
soundboard.
plays. Yeah, it happens right after every slow-mo replay, which we are working to get. If you're planning to kind of follow along with us, we are planning to have our state tournament June. I think it's June. I don't want to quote myself too wrong if I'm wrong, but I think it's the second week of June that we're planning to have our state tournament here in North Carolina happening. Right? Oh, yes, it is June 7th through the 9th. If you are interested in taking on this champion, if you are watching this for the first time ever and thinking, what the hell are they doing? I can do this. We dare you to try. Our state tournament is happening June 7th through the 9th. Pre-registration or registration is going to be opening later this year. Keep a lookout for that. But we are very excited to have happening right here in downtown Raleigh. We're going to have, I know players from maybe up to 5, 6, 7 different states I think are on and expressed interest in coming. Ooh, great.
Yeah, it'll certainly be a good event, a
close
lot of
that.
fun. And yeah, if this is something you're watching and you think it's cool, you think it's fun, you think you could beat some of these players, definitely come out, test yourself. We see Riff with a decisive win there, and we're going to be moving on to game number 6, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be game number 6. So that would mean that Riff is taking his second game of the set, and Joey tried to take his 4th, but Riff found something and very quickly found it.
Joey was playing a little fast and loose that game. I don't know if he was trying something different or just seeing if something would work, but it definitely wasn't his normal style. I wonder if he'll switch back to what he usually does in this next game. But here we go. We're going to get started with game number 6. Once again, it's a potential set game. And kind of a back and forth face-off, but Joey does take it. And a quick point for him. You've seen a few times now on those bank shots, Riff moving a little bit far outside of the goal on his defense, and that's what's letting Joey to get the puck by him. Good block there, though. A good recovery. Alan in the chat says if North Carolina 1-4 is on the line, there's a rule that it must be a 4 of 7 match, and that's right. And the reason we chose 4 rather than top 5 is in North Carolina we have a designation for the top 4 players, the 4 horsemen of the airpocalypse. So if you want to challenge into those ranks, you've got to do the full match. There's another strong left wall from Riff. really see movement from Riff on those pump fakes that Joey's taking, and I think that's what's letting him. He takes pump fakes and then he comes back with none of them, and it almost freezes Riff. He's thinking too much about how he can't move. Here we are at set point 5. Tie things up. Riff calls a timeout at game point, set point. We are 6-6, 3 games to 2. Joey leads in this set. You see Joey slowing things down here. A lot of shots back to back to back. Slows it down again. Joey calls timeout. Once again, see that changing of pace that he likes to do. Quick shot, quick shot, quick shot. Slow it down, stop the puck, call timeout. We'll see what happens here in just a moment. Again with the pump fakes and then the straight. There's that left wall from Riff. Ties things up. 3 games to 3. So we're going to game 7 once again. We saw this in the first set. Joey took that one. We're seeing it here again in the third set. We'll see which way it goes. Definitely an interesting set thus far. We've had some really close games followed up by some blowouts. Back to a really close game. We'll have to see what kind of adjustment they have in store for each other. We see Ray showing up at the gym now as well. He's got a match following my match with AO. He's going to be playing Steve for, I believe, number 6 in the state. Ray, I believe, is 6th. Steve is 7th. They're going to be facing off against each other. That'll be a good one to watch as well. So like Tim was saying, we've got a triple header today. This is our first match between 1 and 5. The second match of the day is going to be me versus AO, 4 versus 8. And then the third match of the day is going to be Ray versus Steve. That's 6 versus 7. Those match times are 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. Of course, tentatively, if the match runs long, we'll have to push the one following it back. But quick start to this game. It is now tied 1-1. Riff takes the lead 2-1. This is set game. And we're tied back up 2-2. We're seeing left walls from Rift, right walls from Joey, following each other back to back. Joey blocks that one, puck's off the table. was a bit of a, I don't know what that shot was. I'm not sure if that went where Joey wanted it to go. There's that off goal again. Another off goal. Joey scores on it himself. That's not something we see particularly often. And that could be huge for this game as well, as close as it is. Back up to 4-all. There's another point from Joey, that right wall over. Saw Riff moving really fast to block the under, and it slid right by him. Tied back up, 5-5. Again, we're seeing those left walls from Riff, right walls from Joey. A lot of pump fakes from Joey now. Comes back with the right wall, and the puck is off the table. More pump fakes, diamond drift, straight shot. Set point 5. Joey gets the puck again. This is going to be a big moment. And there is the set. Joey takes set 3. That is 3-0 now. We're going to take a break for the next 7 minutes, and we will be back shortly.
Trying me hard for that under though. I was like, same thing I was trying to do to him, but I couldn't. I missed a cut. I could have put me up 6-5.
It's for the commentators. So it's Tim and Kurt, yeah. There's folding chairs outside, so find one and wedge it in somewhere. Are you leaving? Where are you going? Oh. You bring me some fries.
you have your own banana.
Yeah. Well, this one's more, you know what I'm saying, seasoned, you know?
Which one of us bumped the button? Not the table.
That's a little banana.
Wow.
It's so small.
Wow. Not while I'm eating it. Oh, wow. Now I gotta break it up, right? You make me feel weird. Hey, Joey.
You're playing so well, though.
That guy's cooking.
I mean, it's fucking Joey.
Dang it, Joey.
Damn it, Joey!
So good.
Giving Riff anxiety.
I'm almost there. I can feel it. I'm almost there. I can feel it.
You've only lost 2 games on us. I lost 3.
You had a banana. You're gonna be fine.
I still got it. After we score, we gotta get back to defense.
Right? That's my problem. A lot of times.
That's one of the biggest things I learned today. That like the fast.
Good morning, Ray. How are ya?
I'm not getting back.
extra hours a week, buddy? Oh, wow. Man, if you were anyone else, that would be going in like butter, but it stays. Oh, topping. Lucky I'm not a crab We would make none of those decisions. They were like, I'm not, I think I did. Ready for your match? So I'd be like, no, it's not crab. I'm the crab. Maybe he will. Depends what version of Steve you get.
Oh, are you counting beers in?
You get steroid, man.
Yeah.
Rage, man.
That can be useful though.
Right?
Sometimes.
He tries to be too nice. He needs to be raised, man.
He needs to be raised.
You start beating him, and he's like, "Yep, see, I always get this wrong."
Yeah, but the problem is there's no middle ground.
He's like, "I can never hold it."
Game 3. Ready.
It's supposed to be Idaho's logo. They didn't even spell their own state right.
Oh my gosh. How? I just saw it. My eyes just got distracted by
I
this,
know.
like,
The whole thing is awful. Did you see that?
What? I saw it, yeah.
Well, it's not my fault.
Breaking that score drought. Joey takes the first game of takes the first point of the third game of third set. Second. If I really look at my own scoreboard, I'll probably figure it out. Here we go. Nice cut there from Riff. Quickly he's going to fire back. Now, I was talking to Joey a little bit before this set started, and he told me that he has learned everything, almost everything he needs to know on defense. And I think he's just kind of confirmed the shots that he knows he can block versus the shot he's just going to have to let go, because sometimes you have to make sacrifices in air hockey when it comes to your defense. But he says he hates when he has to, quote, cheat on his defense, where he's kind of just trying to play the numbers and hope to God that Riff isn't taking the shots. But Riff has shown that he knows how to kind of find a pattern. Oh, that's a real bummer. That is going to grow Joey's lead there on just that kind of puck. Sometimes just sneaks through. These pucks are moving pretty fast, and sometimes when they move really slow, it can really throw your reflexes for a loop. A bit of a cheesy over there. That's a second foul from Riff. Almost paid for it. Timeout called after a very goofy set of over the lines twice in a row, followed by a nice cut. Keeping him. Oh, that's where the karma might really be kicking in there. That is a unfortunate. Call that a self-score. By the way, kind of came back to haunt him very, very quickly, giving Joey game number 3.
States that don't like cheering are those that rhyme with Lexus. I wonder what state that would be.
Just a song.
Houston. More like Booston. Yeah.
Yeah, I brought them. They're all for you.
We brought beer last. That's what happened here.
They're all over. There's a bunch in the kitchen.
We're in one of those middle of the pack sets right now, so this game is really going to decide if Joey can keep up that momentum or if Rick can try to take some games of his own, because this is not the time for him to stumble here. I know he's I wonder if we can pull open the scorecard at some point. Might be able to see like the full score breakdown. We're going to try to post that in the chat at some point here, but the back and forth between these two players is very very palpable, as both these players are kind of, at this point, they're definitely I wouldn't say they've slowed down completely, but they've definitely lost some energy, and the kind of length between their rallies are kind of improving, because they're both kind of slowing down, kind of paying attention to where they need to be investing their energy, but they're still, like I said, not completely slowing down. You see these real quick volleys that are just get more tense because neither one are able to draw blood here. Spoke too soon. Nice left wall under by Riff. Attempted to have a 1-2 off goal there from Joey. Those 1-2s are kind of where you intentionally aim for the side, and then by the time the puck comes back from where you shot it, you are ready to take another combo, hopefully catch your opponent off. Riff is going to try to keep himself in this game. If he's, we talked about how if you're aiming for #1 in North Carolina, you got to play those 4 out of 7s, and so Riff is trying to prove that he is here to take those. Nice left wall under.
Right now it's 2-1, 3-1. Oh, I gotta get rid of that. 2-1.
Yeah. So this would tie their games, yeah. If Riff were to take, yep, come here as Curtis called it there. Another left fall under. That has been working for him. I think that's his third left fall under in a row that he was able to really nail down, solidify, and tie this set up. Riff is not out of this yet, although only 2 games separate Joey Liss from keeping his number 4 rank in the world and number 1 in the state. Only 2 games keep Riff away from staying in this and keeping that chance alive for him to usurp Joey Liss. In the past, only 3 players in the state have held the number 1 place in North Carolina. That is Joey Liss currently, or previously Seth Garrett, and also previously before that would be Kurt Zender, who you've heard on the commentators table today. So if Riff is able to pull this out, he would find himself solidified on the Mount Rushmore of North Carolina air hockey, if such a thing did exist. I know. I might have to commission an artist to put that on a sticker. But that only can be accomplished if Riff is able to stay alive here. He needs to win 2 more games to take the set, and then however many games he needs to take number 1 North Carolina. That still is a further mountain he has to climb. If you've never been to North Carolina, check out the mountains. Great Appalachia views you can see up and down.
Why you could go to Asheville?
Yeah, you can absolutely. Yeah, fun fact, in North Carolina, we have significant player bases all up and down the triangle, but we also have a small player base that is growing and thriving in Asheville, North Carolina, after the departure of Kurt Zender from the triangle area. He's now been cultivating mass, going back to the. That's more like air hockey mass. I usually just call that big brain energy, or I feel like the body type for air hockey. Someone asked what the ideal air hockey body type is, and I told them I told them you're looking at. I told them 8 feet tall. I told them that was that's the only real requirement, or like you just have to have a wingspan. I mean, one of some of our players.
We were actually talking about this yesterday.
5'5"
I think right around 6 feet tall is where I want to be. I don't think you want to be much taller because you want to be able to reach the center line, but you don't want your natural reach to extend too far over the center line, because you're going to end up running into foul trouble a lot if you're going all the way over. So being able to reach it without having to stretch too far is kind of what you want. Being shorter than that, you're going to lose possession of the puck more than you want to. Being taller than that, you're probably accidentally going to lose possession by contacting the puck. So
all I can imagine is what you're able to do is you can stand up straighter and your arm just comes down. So you're maybe you're not taking the full reach your arm for defense, but what you can do is if you're on offense and you're 8 feet tall, I'm just like, theory crafting being an 8 foot tall Titan playing air hockey, but I would back up like a solid foot or 2 from the table and then like a baseball bat swing.
You certainly could.
If I score, it wasn't so bad for defense. But it's one of those. If it's fast enough, I don't care about it coming back to haunt me. But obviously that's a very good point from our very own Jess Crombeller. If I'm swinging that far out, I'm not coming back anytime soon to block that from coming back at me. But a guy can dream. Who plays defense anyway? Who's out here? Defensive, offensive play style.
I'm confused about what just happened.
Why don't you describe what you saw? Oh, let's check the scoreboard.
Big overcall. We had game tied at 4-4 right now. No. So again, you 8 feet tall, you'd be hitting over the center line more often.
4-5.
Hopefully, I'm tall and scary enough that the ref is too scared to call it on me. I was gonna call over. The guy's so tall. Good catch there.
Double nickel. Ready.
I'm going to a 7-6. This is not a game that either player normally would want to lose, but this is 10 seconds on the clock. This is a classic joint maneuver you've been probably seeing all match, where he puts him on ice. He's known for his pump fakes, but imagine pump faking an entire 10-second pause before he comes back swinging. Riff can't let it get to his head. So he stays on defense. Off goal.
There's that off goal.
Another pump fake. Off goal. Right wall under. 7-6. Joey will take his third game of the set. So now it's currently 3-2. You're potentially entering game, set, match for Joey Liss to maintain his #1 rank in North Carolina. That'd be a big win for Joey, big hit to his confidence, and would solidify himself as saying, come get it. If you want to hit me up on a Saturday, I will go toe-to-toe with you 4 out of 7, and I will attempt to run the full 4 set on you. Not to say that Riff hasn't tried, hasn't won his fair share of games, but Joey's eked out that advantage. He's found the shots. He's kept the defense steady, and he's really taken advantage of Riff's play style.
Yeah. As many 7-6 games as he's had, he should maybe consider joining the club, getting the 7-6 tattoo.
Yeah, I'll say that the 7-6 is a very common nirvana that many air hockey players seek. No player when they're there wants to be there because it is so tense, but the victory that it creates makes the
it's a hard-fought victory.
It's a hard fought, and in the end, why those are the best victories you remember. You don't remember all the 7-1s or 7-0s you've played, but you remember the 7-6 that you've won, or even the ones that you've lost, because those are what shape who you are as a player and who you are as a person. In the words of number 3 in the world, Vince Sauceda, number 2 in the world, Vince Sauceda, the table's a mirror. When you show up and play all this air hockey, you're gonna get tired and you're gonna find out really who you are when it really comes down to a 7-6.
What's going on right now? Joey scored on himself twice in a row.
Yeah, it's something that unfortunately, scoring on yourself only increases the percentage chance you're probably going to do it again, because I found myself sometimes getting in these real awful doldrums of air hockey playing where sometimes I outscore my opponent on myself, and it doesn't feel very good. Feels bad, man. Yeah. Get some feels bads, man, in the chat.
2, 3.
Good shot by Joey there.
After all those points on himself, he's brought it back up to a tie game. It's 3-3 now.
calls it on himself. I'm not sure if he said.
Yeah, I couldn't really see what happened. He was in the way of my preview. We are tied 5-5.
Yeah, and that possession might have cost Joey the game. I'm not sure if that was
I assume he thinks he topped it. But here we are, it's match point 5.
wild. That was a double
Can
K.
Riff hold the line?
No, that was what was that? Left counter. Ford takes a lot of his kill shots here. Oh, look at that knuckle breaker. I've seen air hockey mallets kind of develop middle cracks over time, and as a lot of players, Kurt just showed me the callus that he has on his middle finger.
Oh, no, I mean,
Is that like a big old
busted open
big old,
yesterday.
oh snap! Yeah, air hockey is not without its casualties. They're not usually as strenuous as like a lot of full body contact sports, but your hands can take a beating if they're in the fray.
The
like that.
mallet will over time. I use one of the older cream mallets, but my first cream mallet has a split right down the middle of it from playing and just hitting the puck over and over and over again. So I had to retire that mallet. And that is match. 7-5 Joey.
Match. Congratulations, Joey Liss holds on to number 1 in the state of North Carolina and number 4 in the world. Congratulations to both players. Riff played a incredible match. Thank you so much for everyone who's joining the stream. Do not go anywhere. We will be back in a matter of time because this afternoon, the stream will be just going off so we can just preserve the episode, and then we will be coming back with AO versus Kurt for number 4 in the state of North Carolina. We're going to be looking for match number 2 of our 3-peat match card of our Saturday. Thank you all for joining us on your Saturday. We know you can be anywhere in the world on the internet right now, but we are so glad you are watching with us. We think air hockey is one of the is in fact the fastest tabletop sport in the world, and it is the fastest tabletop sport in your heart as well. So thank you so much for joining us. We're gonna see if we can get an interview with our winner Joey Liss. We're gonna get some answers from him. We're gonna come to the center of the table. Hey Joey, come here. Come here. I'm gonna. So I'm here with Joey Liss, who just defended his title as number 1 in the state and number 4 in the world. Joey, how do you want to tell the internet, as for anyone who's coming for you and saying that this air hockey thing isn't that tough, as you sweep a 4-0 victory set win over Riff Portillo?
Yeah, we sure make it look like it's not tough. Let's see y'all come on down and play too. I mean, I learned a lot, and I'm going to figure it out. Every time I'm just getting better. He exposed my defense very well, but I'm glad I learned what I need to work on.
Yeah, I mean, win or lose, you're going to feel like in air hockey, like you're learning something, right? Because you just spent hours playing. No worries. I mean, you just spent hours playing air hockey against the same person. You're going to learn something about yourself, and you're going to learn about something about other people, right?
Every single time, every moment I play, every game I play is just a learning experience. Everyone adapts to each other, so it's really, even when you have a game plan, everyone's got a strategy until they get punched in the face.
Yeah, well, everyone's got a strategy until they get punched in the face. That is the classic Mike Tyson line. Everyone's has a strategy until they're getting 7 shots shot down their goal. So, Joey, congratulations, maintaining your title as number 1 in the state. Thank you so much for watching. That is what North Carolina air hockey is about. When we come back, we're going to have some more air hockey ahead of us. We have Kurt Zender versus AO, and we have Ray Nugent versus Steve Olson as well. So, when we come back, look forward to some more intense air hockey action on the table. Thanks for watching.